I'm here with the man himself, George Mavrakis, Coralfish 12G.
He's like my favorite person in the world because he built me the thing that makes me the happiest.
You've seen this, but you haven't seen this. Hey, what's up everybody at the Pond Professor here. I'm here with the man himself, George Mavrakis, Coralfish 12G, the man, the myth, the legend. So it is always an honor to be back. Thanks for having us out.
I'm just glad that you're here. It's so good to see Ed.
They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
He's like my favorite person in the world because he built me the thing that makes me the happiest, which is this indoor pond and the outdoor pond. A lot has changed since we first started this build.
It has, like a lot. Starting out from basically nothing down here, the wood structure, kind of feeling everything out, and then taking it over the top with all these different layers of decorations and changing the bottom, changing the outside structure, plants, different fish inside of here. I mean, everything.
A lot of memories were made in this corner of my basement. I remember when Ed first came here and I was describing to him what I wanted. I'm not sure if he had totally understood like the vision I had. And in the first phase, we did the whole wood structure. It was functional and the fish were happy in there for about a year. And then I was like, Ed, but we're not done. This is not what I had in mind. This is not the full dream. He came back and, I mean, you literally built this pond by hand, part by part. I don't know. It's been a cool thing for me to tell you what my vision was and for you to sort of come in and not only make it happen, but like challenge me on something. Like with the rock wall, you were telling me like we need to curve it. It needs to have some contour so it looks real. The way I had imagined was like it was gonna be flat. It looks so much better the way Ed did it. Obviously he's the expert. I think it was like a collaboration with some give and take.
100% it was. And I mean, you've traveled the world. You've seen some of the most amazing features on the planet. So to get inside of what you envision is difficult because you've seen so much.
Yeah.
And you have so many different ideas and you want to take a piece from this one, a piece from that one, and kind of mix it together and turn it into something. It is a bit of a challenge, but I'm happy with the result. So every time I come to a project, I always kind of replay everything in my head. One of the things that I remember was carrying these things down those stairs. The glass panels, I mean, they were heavy.
In December, so it was like freezing cold. Yeah, we had like multiple guys carrying these very cold, fragile pieces of glass down like a winding
staircase. Yeah, we were like barely getting ourselves around. In one slip and it would have been a disaster.
That's what I was saying. There's a lot of memories with this pond. There's always a delay with some of my videos. And between when the glass panel broke and when we fixed it, it was probably like 4, 5, 6 month period. And my dad actually found out that the glass broke the day the video came out when he saw it on my family room TV. My mom put it on for him.
This corner and I see this. So this is pretty much worst possible situation. Oh no, it's
what did that happen?
He was shocked. He literally was finding out. Can you imagine that something like this happens in your own home and you find out when you're months later when you're watching it live on YouTube? So yeah, the pieces of glass and windows on this pond have like their own little saga.
They do, yeah.
So
making the custom steel frames for it, and then you were painting them. You had to waterproof all of them, kind of getting that waterproof coating on top of everything. We installed them all, and gosh, I think it was like 20-hour days. Like we were just around the clock trying to get all this done because again, your parents were out of town.
Excellent, excellent.
Wow,
I love it.
Miami.
Miami, wow. Go enjoy a week of somewhere warm on me.
They bought it.
We had kind of a hard
deadline, yeah.
Hard stop. And then the Gingerbread Twins,
Yep.
they came out with all the sand
Yep.
and helped us shuffle all the sand from the front all the way down, again, in the freezing cold. Why we do these things to ourselves, I have no idea.
Another thing was like, I think originally when I told Ed I wanted a glass viewing panel, for some reason we like had miscommunicated on I wanted 2 glass viewing panels.
I totally forgot that.
So we had ordered 1, and then I'm like, wait, no, Ed, there's another one on the other side. And he's just like, George, if you add 1 more detail to this pond, it may not get built.
The example he sets is a first-class ticket to nowhere.
There's a lot of work.
I absolutely love the look. Actually, this was the impetus to do the thing at Aqualand. Like, we then took this whole idea and did it in our outdoor recreational pond and everything. It's like, my God, I mean, it changes everything. So now let's check out how it's being built. So George, on this current iteration of the project, and I'm going to say current because odds are high if you're like me or anybody else, you make changes. So sand on the bottom, pulled all the sand out. You want a more of a cleaner look. Are you happy with the turnout? This is like the first time I've seen it full of water with fish in it with the tile on the bottom.
I think the water has a very pretty bluish tint to it right now.
Yep.
And that is solely because of this white tile.
Okay.
So, and it makes it look finding some spring in the Amazon jungle. But the downside definitely has been cleaning it,
Okay.
which is like, I knew that's what I signed up for, but it still sucks.
Okay.
You know, that
Yeah.
maybe about once a month I have to actually get in there and scrub that tile. You can see it's still got a little bit of some black algae on it.
Yep.
Overall, if I had to do it again, I think I would still go with the tile. It's what I always wanted.
Yep.
It's what I really think is got an aesthetic that stands out.
I agree. I think it's an interesting kind of a architectural twist. So we have the clean lines of the tile on the outside. We got that rugged rock background. So this is kind of like a transitional piece. I like it. I mean, I think the color makes the fish pop out, and I like the color of the water itself. So I know it was different before. It was definitely, with the sand, it did have a little bit more turbidity, I guess, right? Just
Yeah.
cloudy.
It was like kind of a slightly yellowish tint to it. The water was never perfectly clear. So you could never actually see from the windows all the way to the back walls.
Okay.
And that definitely bothered me. And koi are so curious, you know, they're just gonna like stir up the sand or stir up whatever's in the bottom anyways. So I think I'm glad I went with it. But definitely, you know, there is a sacrifice.
Check out this footage of us picking out the tile as well as actually installing it on the project. So one of the pieces that I think took this project over the top was the plants, and I feel bad because Trevor's not here. Like, he was the man behind all this stuff, right? I mean, well, actually you, Trevor, you guys were planting away, putting all the different layers, multiple trips to the store to constantly get more. They probably thought we were nuts.
The lady at Hobby Lobby thought I was off my rocker. Absolutely. I don't think she's ever seen some Conan and spend that much and buy that many artificial plants. But Trevor absolutely 100% gets all the credit. It's amazing how quickly he did it. That was when I really understood just how talented that man is, because we were just like giving him plant after plant and he was just like perfectly placing everything. And he was still very quickly able to make the whole thing look unison, have the dimension, make the colors of the different greens and the little yellows work and all complement each other. The only thing I would say overall with this pond is definitely the plants remind me of the limitations of an indoor pond. So the thing I love the most about my outdoor pond are all the plants and flowers around it and how they're alive and they come and they go and they change and they grow. This just stays the same. And if anything, it sort of like deteriorates. My dream would be somehow to find a way to add like a grow light and add real live plants to it. But yeah, you can't beat this look. It still looks amazing from the moment he finished it to now. Well done. Hats off to Trevor.
So one of the critical pieces that we had to bring in to really transform the space was working with Universal Rock. Worked with them on many, many projects, and it really was the only way that we could pull this off, because there's no way we're bringing in real stone into a basement setting like this. Physically impossible. I didn't just want to take the pieces and have kind of a flat rock face. We wanted to give it 3 dimensions. So what we did was we came in with a series of wooden structures on top of the structure that we originally built to actually make a 3-dimensional model. And then we took that rock and we started twisting and turning it, buckling it in certain areas, and then we put in a series of different screws to hold it in the right position. But what that does is it gives us that naturalistic contour, as well as it creates the proper areas for different plant pockets. So whenever I'm thinking of a project, if it's going to be indoors, outdoors, whatever it happens to be, I'm always thinking of the final look. I want to create a series of layers. I want the water, I want the stonework, and I still want to have some plant areas in between that and the background. Now here we had a painted back wall. We wanted to make that disappear, so I wanted to make sure that we had enough space to actually make that work. So the fake rock went in, and we had about an 18 to 20 inch area to work with. This allowed us to come in with all the different plant material to create the desired levels, which is really what makes the overall feature pop. The other thing is the actual color and texture. Universal Rock actually mixes bits of rock and rock dust and different pieces into the actual mold, so it gives it that naturalistic color as well as feel. And the key to that is by having that brownish color, that natural granite type of a look or sandstone type of a look, then it really makes the green from all the plants pop out. So we want to have all those different transitions. We want to have that contrast, the beautiful water, the nice tile on the bottom, the faux rock panels, and then that incredible lush plant material, which is really going to tie the entire project together. Final piece is bringing this water feature to life, and that comes with biological filtration, the proper recirculation system, as well as the koi.
So I absolutely love koi. Since going to Japan with Greg and seeing all the koi breeders there and picking out my own koi to bring home, I never knew that that would be the start of like a sincere passion. I started the whole journey with aquariums really loving coral and saltwater fish, and there's so many parallels with the koi fish because they come in so many different shapes, so many different colors, different varieties, they all have different names, and it really feels like you're collecting them. And that's probably my favorite thing about them. When they are super big, they swim slowly around the pond, it's very relaxing, and they're just really special fish. I also never thought about koi that way. Most people don't. You just usually see them in a pond at your local mall or something. But when you start seeing what the Japanese have done with these fish and how distinct and colorful all of the patterns are, you really start to have an appreciation for the fish as if they were a piece of art. That's when you could actually get addicted to them, which is what's happened to me. And I just really enjoy having them around in my life. I'm grateful to Aquascape that they've been able to build me not only the outdoor pond, but now the indoor one as well. And I just get to keep more of them.
Do you remember the name of the species that you had?
The big one is a platinum ogon. There's just no other markings on it, so it's just like a pure, perfect white color. Then this one right here is like red and white. That's a doitsu because it doesn't have any scales. We have a big yellow yamabuki. We have another doitsu koi in the corner over there. He's actually what's called a kimonru, and that's a really cool fish. Most people look at that fish and they probably don't think much of it just because it's mostly black. But kimonru koi, they can actually change colors, and that black and the white can change and shift over time. The way I feel about it is like it's almost like a piece of artwork that literally over time evolves and changes. I think that's really cool. And also just seeing an all black koi without scales, it's something that you don't see very often.
George, it has been incredible. Always good seeing you, buddy. I know this will not be the last time. I will definitely be back to just check in on this pond, but I know you're always thinking of another one. I can see it in your eye.
Absolutely. There's gotta be another pond so I can get more koi. And I've heard Greg say this before, so now I'm gonna actually try and use it against him. But I'm pretty sure what his saying goes is big, bigger, biggest. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. I had my first pond. This is bigger. So I think eventually I'm gonna need my biggest pond is hopefully yet to come.
I hope you enjoyed this incredible project update. It's always great checking out stuff here with George, and I just want to hang out here for the rest of the evening, feed the fish, relax, kick back, tell stories. We'll see y'all soon.